Massive good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Podcast 96. Hello, Paddy. How are you, mate?
We're on the opposite side today.
Are we?
When I look at my screen, normally you're on the left and I'm on the right. Now, there you go.
Oh, there we go. That's fair.
Oh.
How are you, mate?
I'm good, man. Yourself?
I'm all right. I hope we don't lose you today through.
The internet is so smooth today. Look at this.
You're getting a new one, aren't you?
New phone, yes, that should be coming on Wednesday. So Tuesday's one with Steve and Maz. We'll see.
Awesome.
But, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. It's lovely here. I'm outside. It's lovely down in Devon.
I can see.
But for everyone else, apparently it's really windy and cold. But beautiful.
Not here. I mean, it's bright. It's a bit overcast, but still not bad.
Awesome. So we'll tell you what we've got coming up today, guys. We've got a jam-packed Sunday for you. In a minute, we're going to welcome to the floor the fantastic Gary Tustin. He's fabulous in any sort of way. Event at 3 o'clock, we're going to have the one, the only Sean Rollinson. Event tonight, we're doing a live stream, myself, Andy and Ben, 11:30 this evening. We're going to start that, and we're going to be going right through the night until 4 o'clock. Hello, Nan. Joy Quaif is watching. We're going to go right through to, and my mum, right through to 4 o'clock, live stream of WWE Money in the Bank reactions, predictions, and just general chit chat. We don't expect anyone to watch because we're nocturnal. But no, we're going to be doing that. Like we always say, please share, give us a like on Facebook, and always subscribe on YouTube as well. There we go. So, should we welcome our guest?
We were talking about creating a TikTok as well, weren't we?
We would like to.
I'm not sure how it's going to work. I mean, I'll have a look at it later. But while we're on that subject, one TikTok account I came across today, I really want to recommend to people. It's Jessica_Kate. She's a girl. She popped up on my For You page. She works at Lincolnshire Wildlife Park. And I'm a big animal lover, so there's like all the parrots, they've got the tigers and all this sort of thing. Like, I watched every video she had to offer. It's really, really cool. And she's running a competition where once this is all over, spending time with some of the tigers and stuff. So hopefully this will be good enough for me to win.
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be good, mate.
But go and check it out. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. But like we said, we'd like to make our own TikTok page eventually. Podcast 96. Do some TikToks with everybody. So yeah, it should be fun. Sarah Tustin. Wow, is that a squeaky chair or bird? It's bird.
It's bird.
I'm outside. So,
Jordan lives in an aviary.
Yeah, it's lovely. Do you want to have a little look round? I'm going to try and flip the camera with.
Oh, let's do that.
Without leaving. There's a massive tree. I mean, it's huge. And yeah, that's about it, really. Yeah, nice houses around, so it's beautiful.
There's a washing line.
There's a washing line. Yeah,
that is a sexy washing line.
It's a beautiful washing line. Right, enough chit chat. Let's welcome our guest for today. He is a massive name in the entertainment industry. He started many, many years ago. Back in the day, he's very old school with entertainment. He's now got his own children's party business. He does something called Bamboogie Family Entertainment with my mum, Sarah Tustin, and we also do something called Boogie Tots as well. He's now a town councillor of March, which is lovely. But he loves entertainment. He's going to come on today, talk all things entertainment and everything in between. Please welcome the one, the only, Gary Tustin. See, I just knew he'd do something like this.
That's amazing.
Hello, everybody.
Are you going to stay like that the whole time?
I think that'd be a good idea, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
No, let's get rid of that.
There we go.
Gary, mate, how are you doing?
Not too bad, gents. And yourselves?
We all good. Tell everyone what that toy is.
This? This is a new line of my mass-produced Gary Tustin action figures. I did ask for the wrestling ones, but unfortunately, they don't make them as fat as I am. So they've had to go for the extra plump teddies. So, yeah, there you go. If you want to buy one, then you're something wrong with you.
There we
Great
go. Right,
pitch there, Gary. Great.
Where do we even start with you? Obviously, we mentioned about Bamboogie and Boogie Tots. I think Boogie Tots was, I'm going to say my mum, I should say Sarah. It was my mum's idea, wasn't it, Boogie Tots? But Bamboogie is something you've always gone by, isn't it?
Well, Bamboogie is basically something I came up with about 6 years ago now. As just a name which should be catchy. It's a song from 90s, I think. And there you go, there's the website. And so when I started doing parties, discos and all that, I thought, what sounds fun that people will remember? And bosh, the song came into my head and away we went.
Brilliant. Nice. And obviously you do kids parties and you've told me about some funny adult parties you've done in the past.
We do the works: kids parties, magic, weddings, discos, funerals. Yeah, anytime you want to celebrate.
I started doing mobile discos way back when I was about sort of 15 years old. Do you ever find the get out is always quicker than the get in?
1,000,000 times. And I think it's because you're that tired, you're that done in, you don't care how it all goes. You've got to set it up all nicely. When you're unpacking it, it's like right into the bag and gone. Bosh.
Yeah. Bearing in mind when I did it, this was back in the days before LED properly kicked off. So it was the chunky light units, the screens for the front, and nightmare.
I had them. I did have them when I started doing it, and you'd really have to lug them about. Very hefty.
Oh, completely.
And then Boogie Tots was something Mum come up with a couple of years ago on, I think it was Boxing Day, wasn't it? And then that has just massively taken off ever since.
Well, that was a brilliant idea by your mother. Basically, she paid me to say that. No,
there you go. There's a poster.
There you go. That's the poster. And what it is it's entertainment for children aged 0 to 7. Music and action songs, because we had little Oscar. Now that's my boy. He's on his way to 5 years old now. But when we had him, he was only 1, and we wanted to take him to groups. And all the groups we took him to was a case of loads of toys on the floor, and parents sat around drinking tea and having a natter. And we thought, well, that's not what we want. So your mum remembered groups that she took Jordan to. Jordan, that way. The hand goes that way. Jordan to, and we went from there. She liked the music, she liked the action, so she thought it up. She came up with the idea, and I basically put it together. All the action songs, all the dancing. Your mum knew the routines, and it's built from there. We're aiming to take it into schools this year. Fingers crossed, touch wood, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's got really popular. We've done it now in about 5 different towns, play centres, you name it, we've done it.
Yeah, that's good.
So with Bamboogie and Boogie Tots as well, it sounds like there's an educational side to it as well. Which is more important, is the entertainment or the education, or do they kind of go hand in glove?
With Boogie Tots, it's definitely about the education side of things. It's about teaching kids movement and words,
sensory and
motion skills, sensory side of stuff as well. It's really about kids learn very quickly through music. We found that through doing the Boogie Tots. We have sensory stuff with colours and lights and parachutes, scarves and bubbles. We have a mini disco halfway through just so the kids can have a run around and a drink and parents can have a break. It's really good fun. And with Bamboogie,
who doesn't love a parachute? Let's be honest.
Exactly.
And obviously with this lockdown, obviously you can't be doing it at the moment, but every Tuesday you go live at 10 o'clock still for everybody for Boogie Tots?
With Boogie Tots we go live on a Tuesday. That's at 10 o'clock on the Boogie Tots Facebook page. Sometimes I do it live on my page as well, so people can see it, and sometimes even on Bamboogie. with Bamboogie, we do special driveway parties and garden parties. So basically, if people want a magic show, I will go to their house, set up on their driveway or their garden, have no physical contact with them whatsoever, keep the 2-meter rule, do the magic show, which they can sit and watch, and they still get to have their magic show. They still get to have their party.
That's really cool.
When people can get their halls sorted, when people can get a venue, we have social discoing, which will start, where I'll have hula hoops for every single child that comes. They then do their disco party in the hula hoop. That is their space. So they play the game in that space. They do the dancing in that space. And then it's up to the parents to do their food and stuff. But you can't guarantee kids are going to stay in it. But it's all not a way of having a children's party whilst keeping everyone distant.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's a brilliant idea.
Brilliant idea. I mean,
I love the name Social Disco.
Social Disco. Me and Paddy are obviously waiting to go back to work. Maybe that would work. Just put hula hoops all over the place.
Completely, yeah.
Us three actually have something a little bit in common, actually, because we've all been manager at Coghurst. I just thought of that off the top of my head.
Have we?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When you would have been manager when I was about 15, Gary. I've told everyone this story now. When they offered me manager at Coghurst, obviously the last time I was there was when Gary was manager, and I was 15, and I was a grumpy little teenager, just sat at the table, and you were manager there, weren't you? And have we lost him?
Oh, he's gone. That's all right. Carry on with the story.
Yeah. Anyway, Gary was manager there, and my brother Jack, he would have been about 12 at the time. Oh, he's back. He'd have been 12 at the time. And this arcade machine broke. A load of 2Ps come out, and Jack had taken all of these 2Ps, as a 12-year-old kid. And me, being a 15-year-old teenager, I got the blame for it at Coghurst. And now, all these years later, I'm meant to be manager there. But there you go.
Just so we get the full details on that, it didn't break.
Please.
Someone smashed the glass.
I mean, I weren't there, but I still got the blame for it.
And so Jordan's younger brother came in with a handful of 2Ps. Jordan came in with a handful of 2Ps, and he still protests his innocence. Oh no, it's not me. I'm just carrying them for Jack. So,
if I remember rightly, I think I got told this by Helder, because where the shop is now, that's where the stage used to be. Is that right?
Well, I've not been there. Obviously, I haven't been to visit Jordan, so I've not been since I've left. So I'm intrigued to see if the venue is still as it was when I was there. So
I don't think so. I mean, most people won't get this because they may not have been. But now you go through. You got the big house bit. You go through there. Reception to your left, and then you've got the arcade in front of you. A shop to your left. And then to the right is the venue, and then you've got the downstairsy bit, which is like the sports bar area.
Yeah.
So it's probably changed quite a bit.
Well, there was no downstairs bit when I was there. Downstairs was the swimming pool and sauna and all that sort of stuff. So.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, still got the pool.
So I'm intrigued to see that. But when I was there was just the one bar. And your DJ box or pod as it is now, isn't it?
Pod.
You're not allowed to say DJ box. Your pod. Your pod. It was actually the shop as well. So no matter how much, when you try and do your work, when you're trying to do sound for a cabaret or trying to run a game show, and some kids coming up to, can I have the flashy one? I want the flashy one. Give me the. Shut up! I want to go to the end. Do the raw. So it's like
Gary's impression of kids. So that was just something I thought of, that we've all been at Coghurst.
Andy's been there as well.
Yeah, Andy did a New Year there also, or an owners party. You might comment in a minute telling us which one, but Yeah, entertainment is very much a small world. But where did it all start for you, Gary? When the holiday parks? What year did that all start for you?
2000.
2000.
2000. So full on 20 years in entertainment now.
Yeah.
And it was at Highfield Grange, which it used to be Great British Holidays, GBH. I love those initials. So
that's almost as good as our initials, PHUK.
Yeah.
It was it was a different world then, and I can imagine that when you talk to Rollo, he'll tell you it was a different world again before that.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
The health and safety side of things was crazy.
Don't.
We used to be pushing people into pools, and when there was a pirate hunt the pirate, and it wasn't a case of you had a set route and the kids couldn't go anywhere near it. Oh no, the pirate had to run for his life. If the kids got hold of him, there'd be 7 shades. It'd be full on assault and battery. And it was
GBH, if you will.
Indeed.
I mean, we've had this a lot with people that have come on, that had some old school entertainers. How do you think that it's changed for the better, like in some ways, or do you think it's got a little bit too PC?
It's changed for the better in the safety of the entertainers, but I think it's got a bit. I think it's a bit too uptight in actual entertainment of the guests. Yeah. You guys don't have the freedom that we did back in the day to just sort of
definitely
be a little bit more risque, say things which might be a little bit dodgy, and it's completely it's different eras. Look at Only Fools and Horses. People were saying that was racist. Now people are saying now that it's racist. People are saying Friends is homophobic.
I was going to say,
and it's just looking at things
Monica.
Different, different eras look at things in different ways.
Yeah, we'll get to Nan's question in a minute, but I think anything, if it was on now, whether it be In-Betweeners, Only Fools, which Friends, which are just jokes because they're sitcoms, people just get offended.
It's different.
Even Little Britain, I've heard people say, when Little Britain first came out, imagine if that came out today. Oh god, their characters.
But things like In-Betweeners and Little Britain are only. Well, In-Betweeners is only just over 10 years old, and just in 10 years, that's how much things have changed.
They are designed to get a reaction anyway. It's acknowledging an issue through humour, and the problem is that nowadays people are that ready to be offended that they don't accept that you're acknowledging the issue. They think you're taking the mickey and belittling the issue, that's why you've got to be so careful.
Which they kind of are with In-Betweeners, because it's a group of teenage lads, and when I watched it for the first time, I was like, yes, this was college. For me, that's what it was like. That's how we talked. It's the first time you go to your first gig, the first time you get really drunk, So it's got its basis in reality, but with the health and safety thing, I mean, I completely agree with. That's controlled substance hazardous to health. That makes sense because you're dealing with something that could harm you if it's not used right. But the whole thing of if there's 2 chairs stacked on top of each other, you can't sit on that. Why not? You can fall off. I could fall off one chair.
Yeah.
It's petty things like that really make it difficult.
You have to wear goggles when custard pieing someone just in case they get it in the eyes. What?
Yeah.
I can see that.
I didn't even know that.
There you go.
Shaving foam. If you get that in your eye, it'll sting for a little bit. But it's
so you've got.
I think the worst one was whipped cream was the worst one. But, but we talk about it quite a lot. How things have changed for kids. Like it's adapted over the years, and it's very hard nowadays to kind of keep their attention because they haven't got much of an attention span if you're on stage. I personally like it, but obviously everyone's entitled to their opinion. When you come to visit me at Steeple last year, Gary, you wasn't really a fan of the on-screen entertainment, was you? But everything was sort of done on the screens.
Well, that is, to me, that is taken away from you as the entertainer. Immediately, the kids are focusing on what's on the screen, and you as the entertainer, you'll be... I mean, in party dances, they've got people on the screen doing the party dances. Eventually, you'll have, like you've got on bingo, your virtual host. You'll have that on. Why do they need to pay entertainers a fortune when they could get a virtual host, which would give you complete brand continuity, no risk of offence, and it's straight there. It can give them exactly what they want. But that's the thing with big companies. And I was going to put this question to you guys. You've both done private and large companies. What would you prefer? The freedom of your private parks, where you guys get more control over what you do, but you've not got the job security, or the job security of the larger companies, but when it comes to actually what you do as an entertainer, you've very much got to do it on brand within their restrictions?
That's a very good question, actually.
Very good question. I think we need Gary on here as a host. I mean, for me, when I was at a private park, you could get away with a lot more, but also I don't think you had the not set in the ways as much. You didn't have much of a structure there, as I do now with Park Holidays. And I feel like I've climbed a ladder with a company in 2 years, where I was at a private park for 4, and I didn't get a promotion or anything. So yeah, you did get away with a bit more on a private park, but that's because it's private. But I see a company is more of a brand. You're protecting that brand. But no, I definitely prefer the company, because that's where I've grown more as an entertainer. So,
what about you, Paddy?
I mean, I can see that, because one of the daytime activities we do, for example, is we do a Hunt the Pirates thing, and like we get given a manual of like, this is what you should have equipment wise, just so it's like a checklist sort of thing. And there's like a manual to say, here's an idea of how to run it. But again, they do give us that freedom to run that how we want. So say I could be the pirate, and at the end I could get thrown in the pool. If it's a nice day, we can do that. Or if not, I just get ejected off or whatever. But yeah, with the private parks, certainly you can put the programs together. But at the same time, I've had this so many times when I've worked on private parks where, it's end of peak season, you've got that gap between end of peak and Halloween or October half term, and it's just like you've got, say, 10 people in, and the casual throwaway thing of like, oh, there's not many people to do the games, oh, let's just do a quiz. I cannot stand that. A quiz is not a cop-out, and so many people use it. If you're going to do a quiz like I do it, Sunday nights I generally do it, make it the big event of the night. Make it like a pub quiz type thing, have different rounds, make it go on for an hour and a half, and have that as your main event. But certainly having control of the program is nice. But again, I have to agree with Jordan in the fact that it's set out for us. So, like, we've got this new thing this year, the Mad Half Hour. That is literally half an hour for us to do whatever the heck we like.
Oh, that's
It could be a game show. It could be a bit of karaoke. It could be, I don't know, fun, hoy bingo. We have the freedom to do what we want in that half hour. We could do party dances if we want. Doesn't matter.
And I think we've come
that range.
Sorry, to go back to that, sorry, go on, mate.
What you were saying with the screens, Gary. Do you think it's the same if, like, say you were doing your vocal act and the screens are being used as like a backdrop, so you've got like stars falling down behind? Do you think that detracts as well, or does that add to it?
Well, that's more like a star cloth. But that is like, as long as it's subtle, as long as it's not like a full-on visual display. As long as it's subtle, like a star cloth, and it increases the presence of the performer, that's fine. But if it was like some sort of, oh, look, he's singing this song, let's put the music video to that song on behind him, all of a sudden it's like a a second show. I mean, the screens. You guys have the app thing, which the app will of kids. Why don't they go further with that and actually make an app where the kids can then select what they want about half an hour before, an hour before? It's easy enough. People can vote on Britain's Got Talent and all this with an app. Kids only get one vote. You get one vote per night with your app, and then they can actually select what they want to do rather than it being a fake app. It's actually a genuine app, the one that gets the most votes in that set period. You guys can even say, right, we're coming up to kids' time. Vote now on the app. Bosh. Suddenly, they are really cool actually engaged with the app. Suddenly, you can really make the holidays personal. They vote for what they want. You guys get final control, because if it's the same thing every night, people will get bored. So if it's looking a bit predictable, you can just go, right, all right, tonight they've asked for that 2 nights on the trot. We'll put this in and just say that was the voted one. So you get an override as such.
Yeah.
Where you can use your judgment.
If we did that, it would be the same screen that we have on the LED walls.
Exactly.
So it's a point of familiarity. But with that as well, like I was saying at the beginning about lighting and stuff like that, LED took off like a few years ago, and obviously moving heads, they became more popular and stuff like that. And so many times, I don't know if you've seen it, Gary, where this is all there to enhance the entertainment itself. And so many people I've seen over the years either don't know how to use it or use it in the wrong way. Have you ever found that?
Yes, I'm also worried that a lot of entertainers, especially newer ones that are coming through now over the last few years, aren't going to know what to do when that goes down. When that thing of it's telling you what to do suddenly isn't there, they're not going to know how to entertain an audience off the top of their head. They're not going to have the experience to do it. Say it's the Ents manager's night off, and you've got your general entertainers that have been with the company for a year, maybe 2 years, but they've never entertained without that sort of safety net of the screen. Suddenly the screen goes down, and they're like...
Then I think that's the difference between a private park and a company as well, because with a company, obviously, you have sort of a 5-day seminar where you learn everything about entertainment, even if it's, say you ask someone to put on a song and they can't find it, they teach you how to just blag on the mic and talk absolute nonsense for 2 minutes. You learn that in a company. With a private park, you're sort of left to get on with it. But I think a lot of it comes down to the individual of an entertainer, because with a company, you're given the things to entertain with, you're given the structure, you're given whatever it is, like the mad half hour. It's up to you what you do with it. You can improvise and you can go out, and in the mornings you can make noise, and I think it really does come down to the entertainer.
Definitely.
But
I've just found something I think any young people watching might not know what it is. These things. Do you remember these things?
Oh, blimey. Mini discs.
No, not quite.
CD.
No, sorry. No, I can't.
Again,
I'm not that old.
I'm still someone who likes to have the actual, like, this was the one that just got released on Friday, so this is proper up to date. Like, well, I was so happy when I turned up Martello, because there's still a Newmark dual CD player hidden underneath the thing. So the cable for it that links the actual laser reader to the display, I can't find that, but I can easily get a new one. So I'm like, that's great. When the cable comes for that, I'll have that as a backup. I'll have a CD in there ready to go just in case. Oh, the computer system we got fails down. Right, play. Then there's no dead air.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
But
reliable.
That's your experience.
Safety net.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe.
You've got that experience behind you. Of newer entertainers are gonna be like, all we've known is entertainment with this. How do we entertain without this structure?
I think for the first time on this podcast, we've sort of had the discussion of more of a debate. Oi, oi. Hello, Alicia. We've sort of had the discussion of where entertainment's going to go, and not a debate as much, but a discussion that some people are going to agree with and disagree with. Where do you see entertainment in 10 or 15? I'll ask both of you this. Where do you see entertainment in 10 to 15 years' time?
Ooh. Paddy, do you want to go first?
I mean, it could be the case of, like Gary was saying, where you've got a virtual host and all this sort of thing. Because like with the Jigsaw system, I think it's a brilliant system. I love it to bits. But our new system we've got is equally as good, if not maybe slightly better. But they've got a function where there's an app that you can download. So if you're on holiday, you find it'll pick up the nearest Jigsaw system near you. So you can put in like messages. They can be put on the screen like "Happy Birthday, Nan," or something. The entertainers can put it on the screen. They can request songs, blah blah blah. But I just think, well, that's great. But again, like Gary was saying, got an override system. You can choose either not to honour that request if you've not got enough time, or if you haven't got the song, you know, you can onto the playlist. But I think that detracts from contacts. I mean, obviously now when we go back, if social distancing is still a thing, that's an ideal scenario. Yeah. But having that one-on-one contact, excuse me, mate, have you got the... Don't get me started on things that annoy DJs. But, yeah, the virtual side of things maybe. And I just think, as good as the big companies are, could it maybe be the end of independent companies? What do you think, Gaz?
I think what you'll find is the big companies will replace the general entertainer. The general entertainer will be close to dying off. You'll have your vocalist and show teams, and the DJ as such will be run by the machine. You'll have your virtual host, then you've got your dancers and your show teams, but that's it. And then you'll the human interaction side of things, the PRing, it won't exist because people don't want to be bothered. The more I found that out in my later years, that people weren't wanting to be bothered. People weren't wanting to join in with the game shows as much anymore. They were they want to watch someone be embarrassed, but they don't want to do it themselves. Yeah. And I mean, I had the idea of when I was at Coggers, the people literally just texting in. So you give me a text to say, yes, I want to join in the game show. And so we get the numbers at the start of the week, over the course of the week. And when it comes to a game show, I stand on stage with the park phone that I had, give them a text on stage and say, right, you're up for the game show. Because you don't get the names. You just get the numbers. Bosh, you are chosen for the game show. Thank you for volunteering. Come on up and win a prize. And that way, you weren't being set up by the bloke that wants to stitch up his mate, which is hard as nails and scares the living daylights out of you. When you go, hey, he says you want to play. No, you don't. You're going to punch me, aren't you? Okay, fine. And yeah, that evades that side of things. And the general entertainer will thrive on the private park. There will always be the private park. And on the private park, they can't afford all the high-tech stuff. There'll be your Ents team of 3-4 entertainers that all do everything. And that there'll still be those parks. So mid-level companies that have nice venues. I mean, I've worked at the bottom, I've worked in the middle, and I've worked at the top. And those mid-level and bottom companies will still be putting on entertainment. People will still want to go to the big... Eventually, the big parks aren't going to buy all the parks. They've sort of brought all the Haven ones, and they're sort of buying between each other, PHUK and PDR or whatever they are. Basically exactly the same company. And John Fowler, I can't see him expanding too much more. Yeah, and so the private parks will still present that place for the general entertainer to thrive, but I think the general entertainer is going to die off at the bigger parks. It's going to get replaced by an on-screen host.
There's one thing that I had to say, I think Haven got so right about, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, they created HTC, which is the Haven Theatre Company. So the people part of that, all they do is the production shows. That's all they do. And then you've got whatever they call them, the teams park, well, whatever it's called. So the generals just do the kids' time, the bingo, the game shows, so they can just focus on that. And the show teams can just focus on the show, which is it's a great idea, because if that's all you've got to think about, then for the generals, it's like, oh, I don't have to think of, right, tonight it's, back to the 80s, I've got to remember all the songs in that, I've got to remember the dance, but you can just do that. So I think that's one thing they got really, really well.
I like the idea. Show teams have been part of the business for years.
Yeah.
But I preferred the smaller parks where I'm not an amazing vocalist. Yes, I'm entertaining and I can sing certain songs. That's why I do my cabaret. But I'm not an amazing vocalist. So to be in a show on the parks was great. You could be involved in everything.
Again, as well, when I was a redcoat at Minehead, we still had a live band behind the backdrop playing live when we were singing. I thought that was so cool.
I wish they brought bands back. It's such a shame they got rid of the house band.
Do you know who used to be drummer at Minehead in the live band back in the day?
Go on.
Ringo Starr.
Hey!
We had a question from Arthur saying, all right, lads, Sally asked, how did you get your entertainment voice? Do you model yourselves or anyone else?
Ooh.
I just do as I do. I
don't think you can really practice a mic voice, can you? It comes either really quick or or you get it in a month or two. I think
mine changes. Mine changes. So if I'm hosting game show or something like that, it'll be that. But if I'm doing a quiz, it'll be more like I'm talking now. It'll be sort of relatively normal.
Oh, you say yours changes, but Jordan's, his accent literally changes no matter where he goes in the country. His accent, he will adopt the accent of that area.
Really bad. I'm really bad.
It's so funny. He'll come home and he'll be talking in a completely random voice. And it's
all right, I've had a great season.
But I think with mic voices, nobody ever speaks like that. Where we go, all right, ladies and gentlemen, or no one talks like that normally.
No,
it's just one of them things where it just naturally comes out. But sort of going back to the areas, we had this with Ryan the other day, where he said you can sort of tell a joke if you're a northerner, and some people will get it, but in other parts they won't. Do you think sometimes the entertainer it comes down to the area, Gary? Because you've mentioned a few times you never really had the Essex banner.
Oh God, no!
And places like that. So
I've worked every coast of the UK, and I've gone down well pretty much everywhere I've gone. Yes, of course there are people that don't like me. I'm an absolute butt munch, but still, when I go over to the London side of things, they can't stand me. For whatever reason, I don't get their humour, they don't get my humour, and it just doesn't work. I'm all right for when I do my fill-in for park holidays or whatever, when I go in for one night only for an owner's party, they can sort of get by. But if I'm there a lot, they just don't, for some reason, it just doesn't work. It's very strange. But
what do you reckon, Paddy? Because when I did 2 years in Essex, I was at St. Joseph and Steeple last year, and I really got on with the people from Essex. What do you think? Because you've been to a lot of places. Have you ever had that where you just don't click or bond with a certain audience?
I mean, again, it's like me being a southerner. I really like Peter Kay. I think he's hilarious, one of the best comedians. But some of my mates don't get it. Because his style of comedy is very kind of, Bolton, northern based, things like that. But no, again, me being an Essex, I'm just constantly quoting like Towie. It's like, oh, shut up, just doing all that kind of thing and kind of sort of adapting. Again, like if I'm going to be in Devon or whatever, you can just tell gags like that you've got an expression down there I don't get. Where is that to? I think you mean where is that? The only way that sentence works is if you're carrying around a load of numbers and you drop one, you're like 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where's that to? Like things like that. If you can do a joke that's based on the area, then great. I mean, I don't think I've ever really had any places disliked. No.
I mean, Essex,
you just adapt, even abroad.
Yeah, Essex. There was a couple of owners, and it weren't even banter. You'd just tell each other to shut up. You were like, "Oh, shut up," and they burst out laughing. It was just simple things. If you give it back to them, but I think it does change wherever you are. I mean, Cornwall, I was all right with some people, and the Janners. I mean, that's where I am now, in Jannerland. But I find definitely I clicked a lot more with people of Essex. So, but different for everyone, isn't it?
Sarah said, "Do your DJ voice, Gary." Sarah just said that.
Oh God, do I have to? She literally, she's heard it so many times.
We haven't.
Gary, I have.
You have, definitely.
No, I haven't.
All right then, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. It's time for the next question from Paddy and Jordan.
There we go. Nice little
nice
things there. So, where entertainment was it something you knew you wanted to do from when you was a kid, or after uni, or when did you go to a particular holiday park and think, that's what I want to do? Or
well, I've always wanted to be an actor. I've performed on some of the biggest stages in the area I grew up in, which was Gloucestershire, and some of the biggest theatres around. And I've studied performing arts at college, and then I went off to Newcastle, where I studied drama. Indeed, and I studied acting. I was on Biker Grove when I was up there, and that's when I was in the Boys Home Tribute Band. And then, unfortunately, my mum passed, and it meant I had to come back to my home. I wanted to come home, and unfortunately, the only course they had was theatre in the community. I tried it, and I didn't like it. Maybe it was because of what I was going through with my mum passing, and so I went to holiday parks. I went and did the Highfield, Great British Holidays, and it was like running away. And so I did it. I loved it, and then I stayed in it, and I'm still hanging about it like a bad smell. So it's not a glorious story, to be honest. It's a bit of a sad tale, but it's one of those that I've had great fun while I've done it, and I've had some wonderful experience, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Yes, I could be a famous movie star now and loaded, but I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, so I wouldn't change it for the world.
Definitely.
From back in the day, or maybe even now, what's the thing you find hardest about it? Because, I mean, we've asked other people this, and for me, it's the homesickness. Like, I can deal with it. It's fine. But it's just like the fact of, some of my mates down here, Tony, Andy, whoever, like, it's not like I can just go down the pub with them whenever I like. So that's why I love having Facebook, because if it's someone's birthday, I can see they've had a good time. What's the hardest thing you find about doing it?
Well, we never had Facebook back in when I was doing it full time, of course. That only came in just towards the end. You know what? This is going to sound so arrogant, and you must forgive me on this, but I didn't find anything hard. It was like a duck to water. It was where I should be. It was where I was meant to be. I'd already been away at uni at Newcastle, so my family, I'd sort of got used to that. The odd phone call here and there. We're not exactly a very close family. I missed my mates, but I made mates on the park. I miss girls, but I found girls on the park. And so, and I got to perform. I got to release a lot. I had a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, and I was able to get up on stage and just release that. And that's what I do now. It's the way I release a lot of anger and a lot of frustration, a lot of stress. I put it all into a performance, and I love it. It's fantastic.
I think that was.
Can you imagine when all this is over, our first night back on stage? How much energy are we actually going to have, Jordan?
Yes, we're back. Come on, first night.
It's going to be like Ryan said the other day, because you get those mid-season blues. It's going to be interesting to now, whenever we go back, to just literally go. Whether that be June, where it's literally the middle of the season, to pick the ball up and run with it.
But is there going to be anyone at the park?
We don't know. No one knows. But just going back, I think I've always been like that. I mean, I've not really had homesickness. I mean, I've missed people at home, but obviously I started with Harlem when Gary sort of opened the door for me at Harlem when I was 17. So it was a private park. So I started when I was 17. So I think starting at that young age and just doing it until now, I'm still doing it. I'm still away from home. I think that helped. So I think maybe the earlier you go into it, the easier. I don't know, but I've been the same, where I've not really had homesickness.
Just to say as well, are we going to get people coming back on holiday? I mean, I hope so. People have been rebooking. People have been rescheduling this stuff. The best way to find out information is through social media. Talking of which, if you're enjoying this podcast, please give it a like and a share.
I'll tell you what.
Smooth.
Right. Jen,
there you go.
How do you fill your free time? I mean, I used to have a PlayStation.
I can say on here.
After dark version.
I used to have a PlayStation and like 6 films that I'd take with me, and and some games. So I'd spend all my time on ISS or FIFA. I mean, what about you guys? Do you find yourselves gaming a lot of the time, watching films on NAF TV, or do you actually sit down and sleep? Well,
do you mean through this?
Is this like now or on park?
Through this lockdown or through?
No, on park, through season. How do you spend that moment of free time you get?
For me, generally TV, but I like sort of getting out, so I'll find an excuse to get down the supermarket. Just like, I could do with milk actually. I'll go and do it. Getting out and getting active, but mostly TV, mainly sitcoms and stand-up comedy. If I'm honest, how about you, George?
When I was at Harlem, I obviously had a lot of mates, and we'd either play FIFA or we were 2 minutes away from the most beautiful beach. So it was I think it was quite easy at Harlem because we always had stuff to do. But I think St. Joseph, I had mates about, but didn't really get out as much. I mean, I went into Clapton a few times. Last year was impossible because I was at Steeple and I was just in the middle of nowhere. So I played Xbox, so I went to see Beth every Sunday. But no, I guess passing the time, just Xbox and being with mates. I try not to sleep because if I sleep, I'm knackered in the evening. But I also eat a lot during shifts, and especially after the evening shift, I eat a heck of a lot. So.
I mean, on my day off, I always try and get to like some of the local attractions if I can. Like when I worked in Devon, not too far away was like the Milky Way, the Big Sheep, places like that.
Big Sheep,
Woodlands, Treethorn, all that, and it's just like, okay, I've seen all these advertised, like because you got that leaflet stand in reception. I've seen it. Milky Way I went to as a kid anyway, so I knew that was cool. So I just went back for a bit of nostalgia. But it's like, what if people ask me what's it like, and if I've been there, I can give an accurate review. So it's kind of best of both worlds. You get to have fun, plus you're kind of doing research for your job as well.
Well, when I was on parks down that way, I used to get in contact with the theme park, whatever, and say, look, entertainer at the holiday park. How about some free tickets that we can give out as prizes?
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, they'll say yes. So I'll then use the free ticket to go and have a look myself before giving the rest away as prizes.
Fair enough.
It's like near here. I worked in a park near here. Near to us is Polton's Park.
Yeah.
And again, we got in contact with them. Like, how about a couple of freebies? They're like, yeah. They send it through. It keeps our prize stock level down. Doesn't affect our budget. They get advertising out of it as well. It's a good deal.
Oh, spot on. You got to have a look what there is in Hastings, Jordan. See what you can give away.
I mean, I will when I'm back there.
Colchester Zoo. Oh no, Hastings. What have you got nearby? Not a lot.
I liked Hastings. Looking around, it was. I mean, it was a vast improvement from Staple. But...
I think there's an escape room there somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, but me and Beth,
as far as Eastbourne.
Yeah, obviously I'm with Beth, so we're not going to get the same day off. But I mean, we can go out for meals or we'll just go around the town. But it's definitely better than last year at Steeple because goodness me, that was awful. Not the park. The park was lovely and the owners were lovely, but for things to do between shifts, you know, none of us could drive.
Smugglers Adventure, thank you. That's it.
Well, I've been there. We've been there. That's good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're going to go back. There's obviously some other things you want to talk about. What did you do at uni, Gary? I know you love performing arts and acting, but
yeah, performing arts acting. So it was specialist acting course because I was good at it once, and so.
Do you make a good drama queen?
No, I've heard that. Your mother says that quite a bit. So, like I said, I've been in youth theatres since I was about 7 years old, and I just wanted to be an actor, and so I took the only performing arts college course that there was locally. Then I went to the best. We didn't have the money to get into somewhere like RADA or anything like that. So I went to one of the best acting courses available to me, which was the Newcastle. And it was starting to all sort of fall in place. And then, of course, life decided to throw a curveball. And I found myself in entertainment. But I've always been a prat. So it works.
I think it's part of the job requirement, isn't it?
But sometimes you have that. Not that you don't care, but you're not. You won't let other people what they think of you bother you. I mean, I've seen you go to Tesco's in your Superman onesie, or in your slippers, and you're not that you're not bothered, but other people's opinions you just don't let them bother you, do you?
You've only got one life to live.
Yeah.
And if you worry too much about what other people think, then you won't do anything. You may as well just crack on.
Yeah.
I'm thick-skinned. I was bullied since I was knee-high to a fart. And I've had nasty things said to me, nasty things done to me, and you develop a thick skin. On a holiday park, I was attacked in the toilet because one of my team members decided to start moaning about me to the owners. The owners decided that they were going to take action on the moan and confronted me. And it's like the moan was something that most entertainers, oh, he's being horrible to me. He's not letting me go out. He's not letting me do this. He's not letting me do that. And it's like, I can't. It's me and you on a park. There's certain things that need to be done. But because this lass decided to moan to an owner, the owner decided to take it upon himself to confront me in a toilet. In another park, I was confronted by a bloke with a hockey stick because I wouldn't let his kid win a prize. You've got to have a
Why
thick
did he have a
skin.
hockey stick? Where did he get a hockey stick from?
I have no idea, but he had a hockey stick, and I was walking home from work, and he was like, "My kid should have won that game." I was like, your kid didn't win. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
I can't make your child win if they didn't win. There's about 20 other kids there. Come on. A bit of realism here.
Everyone's got to win a prize and all this sort of thing. That's slowly crept into the parks as well.
Oh, I can't. I've always, when I do my parties, I say that I don't get children out in games. I've started doing that. I don't get children out.
God forbid entertainers do that.
Because, no, it's not so they don't feel left out. It's because if you go and sit them down on the side, they will get bored, they will run around. So if you keep them in, then at least they're occupied. But I say at the parties, I'm looking for the best one. I will pick the winner.
That's what I do, yeah.
I will pick the best one. And if the parents don't like it, tough. I'm happy to take it on my shoulders.
Yeah.
It's like...
What I tend to do is like, risk them, say the prize is like sweets or whatever. Normally I've got a big bowl of them. And it's like, I've done games, blah, blah, blah. There you go. That's in the kids' summer. See you later. Bye. Grab a big handful and just lob them out on the dance floor so they got the chance to get some. It's like, perfect. Problem solved.
Fair enough.
I'm not paying for them, so who cares?
One park I was at, it was the owner's party. And this was the last park I did professionally, and I don't actually count it. So this was the last park after Colchurst. And I was the events manager there. And it was the owner's party, James Bond theme. The cabaret was singing. And she was mid-song when a parent ran up to me. "I've lost my child! I've lost my child!" And I was like, okay, where is your child? Where did you see them last? I don't know. Stop the music. Turn the lights on. We've got to look for your child. I was like, right, I can't do that, but I will make an announcement once the cabarets finish their song. So I let the cabaret finish the song. Then I said to the cabaret, look, hold on a minute. I made an announcement. I then said, right, start singing. The cabaret then carried on. The mum came back up to me. "That's not good enough. I want you to stop everything. Turn the lights on." So once again, once the singer finished, I went, right, if there is anybody in the room that wants to help us look for this little one, I'm going to turn the lights on. We are going to go look for this little one. The cabaret will still carry on for those of you that don't want to look. So the cabaret carried on singing. Lights were on. I was out of the DJ box looking around. It's still not good enough. Stop the cabaret. Everyone's got to help. There were people walking up and down the length of the park, searching high and low. The bar was shut. And I find the girl hiding behind a fruit machine in the arcade. And,
thinking it's all hilarious, yeah.
And I took her out to her mum and dad. And do you know what I got from them? "It's not good enough. You should have stopped the singer. You should have stopped the music. Everyone should have gone out." And they started on me. They started on my partner. And they were getting threatening towards the kids. And I was like, whoa, hold on a minute. At that point, we left. They left. And I said to the GM at the time, look, I'm not prepared to stay on a park where my partner and her kids are getting threatened. And I left. Thank you very much. End of days, and that was it. Because if they're prepared to threaten me over finding their child just because I didn't do it in the method they wanted, even though you've got to consider the needs of the other guests that don't want to get up and look for this lost child. They want to sit down and enjoy the owner's evening. So
too cool, I think. On your part.
Time is slowly getting away from us. I just got a quick one before we do end. Is there a phrase or an expression, and this is actually to both of you, that absolutely does your head in? It could be from a guest, it could be from a friend. Like, I'll tell you mine, right? A little bit of this. I cannot stand that phrase, to the point of, like, during kids' time or something, and someone says, "Here we go, we're playing a game or something. We're going to carry on with a little bit of this," and I play a song. I'll literally play it for 3 seconds and pause it again. Then I get the look. What? You said a little bit. That was a little bit. And people who do it after every song. Some cabarets who do it, I cannot understand, and it grinds me. What's yours, Gary?
Truth be told, I'm one of the people that's at fault for saying that. I can turn round. I've turned it into a catchphrase. A little bit of Gary Tustin. It's a little bit, and I'm at fault for saying that. So, Paddy, my apologies. There you go.
There you go.
I know I say it, and because I know I say it, I play on it.
Which
but
is fine.
For me,
fair enough. But it's just it grates on me. But yeah, sorry, yours.
For me, it's when I'm doing my magic show and kids come up to me and go, "That's not magic." I'm like, "What is magic?" Harry Potter. I'm stood there going, "Are you serious? That's not magic. What do you think magic is? Seriously." One phrase, "That's not magic." What is magic? They can't answer it because magic is magic. And
yeah,
I don't really have
unless
one.
You got something like a tarantula gimmick where it actually looks like real stuff. Sorry, Jordan, go on.
I really don't have. I have one, but I can't say it on air because it's to do with some friends. Okay. But the friends that are real, and you get some kids that just ruin it for everybody else.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Obviously, I can't go into that too much, but that's probably the one. Kids that just want to ruin it for everybody else, whether it's a game or anything.
Yeah.
What
about I pay your wages? Says Andy. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you what. Entertainment is easy. I don't like that. Or I could do your job, or entertainment is easy. I hate it when people say that.
I hand them the microphone. Go on in, and they just stand there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
There's a
like
great
that.
list of stuff. I put it up. I put it up backstage everywhere I go because it's quite funny to me. It's obviously a joke thing, but things that people say to DJs. It's my birthday. You have to play my song next, and it's got the response you should say to it, and it's just like, no, I don't.
Yeah. I had an idea.
Can I charge my phone? No, you can't.
I had not an idea because it won't happen, but my friends group from home, there's 4 of us. There's me, Nathan, James, and Josh, and we all like going out and our nights out in Nottingham, but we all do completely different jobs. I do entertainment, Nathan's a chef, James is a farmer, and Josh works in an office on computers. And I said, for one day, if we all did each other's job, who would crack first? And I said, I reckon it would be any of you on stage with a microphone, because although they're confident like around our friends group and they're up for a joke, if you put them on stage with a mic, they would crack. I mean, I could go into a kitchen and I probably wouldn't be able to cook, but I'd give it a go. But if any of them come on stage and they tried to talk on a microphone, I don't think any of them could do it. But that's just my theory. But Gary, I was going to ask you as well, anything that's ever happened to you, embarrassing moments on stage, PR and backstage?
Right. One of my favorite ones is I was in the middle of Link Bingo. Now, you know how important it is that you stay on the call and everything goes to plan. Yeah. Well, for some reason, I developed explosive diarrhea. And I literally, it wasn't on stage, but in the middle of bingo, while all the phone call was going on, I literally, all you saw was me run out of that DJ box.
There's nothing worse when you need a poo on stage.
But it wasn't one that you could. It wasn't one of those you could hold in. It was one of those that just happened, and you're just like, okay, oh my god, right, I've got to go, and it was like coggers. I literally
we shouldn't
just
be laughing, but
get out of here.
Awful.
Yeah.
That's not good. But Bingo wasn't playing, was it?
Oh, I can't remember now. I think
that would be bad if there was a claim and you were mid poo.
Yeah, I think Bingo was. It was due to sort of. Oh god, it was just at the wrong time.
Goodness me. Before we wrap up, I know you said you wanted to talk a little bit about football or wrestling. Anything on that you want to bring up?
Well, Paddy, do you do FIFA? Are you a FIFA man?
He's not a football man.
No, he doesn't play FIFA. Right.
Sorry?
I was just wondering if you're a FIFA man, Paddy, if you played FIFA, but Jordan reckons you're not a football man, so...
I support Bournemouth, so I don't know what decent football is.
Fair enough. So... right.
Go on, carry on.
I only asked because I've been putting a FIFA team together, and I just wondered what your guesses were at the cost of this team. So Haaland, Sancho.
Just for me,
Pogba, yeah? For you or Paddy. Sancho, Pogba, Foden, Trent Alexander-Armstrong, and Arnold, that's the one. And Gomez as and maybe Max Meyer, Jordan E. Just as a few players. How much do you reckon it would have cost?
This is FIFA 20, yeah?
Yeah, FIFA 20 to buy all those players.
If you've got Sancho in there, that would boost it up a lot.
Haaland's in there. Pogba's in there.
Oh, Pogba as well. I would say 250 million.
Naffle.
Oh, did you get them all on the contract expiring, did you?
Yeah.
Like it.
All on. To anyone that's watching, if you're playing FIFA, and I play as Cheltenham Town, career mode. I play as Cheltenham Town, which is, if you ever have a look, I mean, Paddy goes on about Bournemouth. Cheltenham. It is like as low as you can go, and so what I do is I wait until the best players, their contract expires, as long as they're over 23, and you just sign them. As long as you can cover their wages, they will come to you. Yeah. And you can build up one heck of a squad on that. I
think I got Sterling last season on a free. Sterling and who's the other one I got? I can't remember now. I've got Sterling and who's the Leicester player? But he's rated really high because it's like 2024.
Damari Gray.
Yuri Tillemans. I got on a free.
Tillman.
So Tillemans and Sterling, both on a free. So
and also a good way of getting more money than your actual initial balance that they give you is at the end of the season put all your prize money into the wage fund. Give that to give players that you want to flog on, get rid of, massive contracts, huge £100,000 contract. Sell them on at the start of the next season, and your wage budget goes huge, just because all that money comes back into you. So there's a nice...
Paddy's got no idea what we're talking about, but it's fine. I'm going to take the opportunity to just ask you about wrestling, because I know you'll probably say something smart about baby oil or something like that, but no one spoke about wrestling yet. We're watching it live tonight, me, Andy and Ben, Money in the Bank live stream. What's your view on wrestling at the minute? Obviously, a lot of people have been released from WWE.
I can't believe it's actually still going. Everything's on hiatus. All sports are on hiatus. Yet, for whatever reason, they've made it that WWE is essential to keep going in America.
Rules don't apply to Vince McMahon, do they?
Oh no, not at all.
No,
I wonder
don't.
how much money he had to throw at that. But
No.
the WWE just seems to be so flat at the moment. I mean, I'm obviously a fan of the 90s wrestling, of the 80s wrestling. Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man Randy Savage, all of that lot. I love the characters, the colour, the flair. And nowadays, a lot of the wrestlers you see, they're dressed in black. They just look like they've not had a hair wash in God knows how many months. And
you can come on another day.
and they just don't seem to have a lot of personality about them. They don't seem to have a lot of character. I mean, is it that difficult to sort of bring back the Ultimate Warrior gimmick? Could they have the new Warrior? They could make them a tag team. Literally.
What?
But, you know, Andy's absolutely fuming on that one. But, I mean...
Get out, Andy.
Ooh.
That's why the girls... But that's why the girls' wrestling is becoming so good. There is so much character in the female wrestling compared to the male.
We had this with Ryan the other day. The women's wrestling has just taken off. Like what it used to be back in the 90s, it was... You'd be lucky if you got a match. It was very male dominant, but now it's brilliant. Obviously, you had the first women's main event of WrestleMania last year. Well, back when I started watching wrestling, it would be like Miss Elizabeth versus what's it? I want to say Shiva. It's not Shiva. Andy, Shawn Michaels' manager. I know you mean.
Sensational Sherry.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's it. And that was the closest you got to a ladies' match. The two of them fighting over Shawn Michaels or something. Macho Man. And so the women's wrestling has really gone on leaps and bounds. Whilst the male side of things, there's not enough characters. There really isn't. No one stands out. The fact they have to keep going back to The Undertaker.
Yeah.
WrestleMania, one of the biggest matches was The Undertaker. The dude has got to be pushing. I bet he's locked up for coronavirus, 70 odd or something.
Almost. Okay, just before we go, we've got something else we want to advertise. We'll advertise Bamboogie again and Boogie Tots for Gary. You've also written a book as well that you can find on Amazon. What's the book about, Gary?
The book is called Jordan and Bear's Hospital Adventures, and it's Mr. Chan the Bin Man, and it was inspired by Jordan's incredibly racist tales of when he was in...
There it is.
Let me point out I was not racist in any way, thank you.
He's not right. No,
there's the page. There you can get it on Amazon.
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon, and a donation of every single purchase of the book goes to Great Ormond Street, because when Jordan was in Great Ormond Street, he told us how he saw a white stairway of light. And
we'll have this one day on the podcast about my heart transplant.
I was going to say, someone needs to interview you about it, Jordan.
I thought it'd be nice if we had me and Mum on here talking about it, and sort of Paddy asking the questions about the heart transplant if she's up for it.
I won't go into it in too much details, but when you came out of hospital, you told us about. I do apologise for any offence caused by the statements I'm just about to make. You went on about Chinese bin man.
He was a bit. He was a bin man, and he was Chinese.
Yeah, exactly. Giraffe man.
Because he had a long neck.
And various other things, like you were the first person to have a Big Mac in intensive care, I do believe.
Yes. Yeah.
And so, stories like this I've put into a series of books, Jordan and Bear's Hospital Adventures. obviously Bear is your mum, as your mum was with you all the time through hospital, while you're in hospital, and the idea is that it's to give hope to those that are in hospital themselves, who are going through the situation, because Jordan has now
really cool.
gone on to live his dream. He's fit and healthy and still useless at football. And I mean, saying Jordan's useless at football, he's actually very good as a corner flag. So if you guys ever have a team football match, you just get to stand in the corner and wave his hat about. That's about as well as he moves. But it's meant to be something to give comfort. The lad is living his dream, and the book is just about my exaggeration, my interpretation of the little stories that he came out with. So we've got the next book is going to be Giraffe Man. Yeah, well, this is the story where you and Bear go to Africa, and you find a giraffe. That you go to an animal sanctuary where Giraffe Man's lost all his giraffes, and you and Bear go and find the giraffes, which is a nice little story. But Mr. Chan the Bin Man is where you go to China, and you get fireworks for the New Year's extravaganza, and then finish off with the Chinese. So
good stuff.
It's to be read. It is to be read. You got to love a Chinese.
We'll try and get Mum on it as well and talk about it, because I think that'd be a good topic for everyone. But thank you very much for coming on, Gary, and talking all things entertainment. It's been a pleasure.
No problem.
Absolutely brilliant.
To you, Paddy.
It's been nice to sort of for the first time have a chat and see where entertainment's going a little bit. But there you can see obviously Bamboogie and Boogie Tots on the Facebook page.
Boogie Tots is there.
Gary does his own.
A little bit of Gary Tustin
as well. A little bit of Gary Tustin, and of course Jordan and Bear's adventures.
Yeah, vocal cabaret and children's magic show, which I can do on the same night to fill an evening for it. So
amazing.
There's everything you need at the bottom. Once again, thank you for coming on, Gary. Stay in the link at the end, and we'll have a little natter. But once again, guys, join us at 3:00 for Rolo. He'll be on the podcast. Big name in the entertainment industry. Gary, thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure. We'll see everybody in just over an hour.
And in the meantime, don't forget like page so that we get YouTube as well. Let's get them up. Let's get the numbers up.
I think we're on a winner here, Tree. All right, play it nice and cool, son. Nice and cool. You know what I mean?
Well, if you say during the war once more, I'm going to pour this cup of tea right over your head.
I wasn't going to say during the war.
Well, that's all right then.
Bloody little know-all.
All right. I'm sorry.
Thank you. During the 1939-1945 conflict in Germany...
Who's the favourite parent? Who shouts at you the most? Who spends the most money? Who do you go to for money? Who's more athletic? Who drinks the most alcohol? Who's more likely to be TikTok famous? Who would you go to first if you needed help? Who's the most annoying? Who does the most cleaning? Who complains the most? Who spends more time on social media?